Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another Versus Night. Tonight, I will be comparing DoA, Dead or Alive, from 2006 versus Mortal Kombat from 2021. So, let's get started on this one with the leads. DoA, Dead or Alive stars Jamie Presley and Devin Aoki. Mortal Kombat stars Lewis Tan and Jessica McNamee. Alright, so I've always been a fan of Jamie Presley. I've always liked her performances in anything she's in. She's never really been a major actress or big star, but I just think she is a really good little actress. And I don't know if she actually has any martial arts abilities, but as far as her acting, I think she does a really good job playing the character of Tina Armstrong in here. And Devin Aoki, I've always been a fan of her as well. I liked her in Fast and the Furious films that she was in, and I liked her in, of course, Sin City. Her character in that, I loved her character in that. So her being cast in the character of Kasumi was pretty good casting, in my opinion, on that one. I really like that casting. So these two are pretty good on this. Now let's look at the leads in Mortal Kombat. You have Lewis Tan playing a character named Cole Young. Who's Cole Young? Who the hell knows? He sure as hell wasn't in the video game that this is based on. So why is he even here? I don't know. And his character is such a weak-ass character. Why would you want him as your lead character in your story? He gets his ass kicked throughout the film, and then all of a sudden he discovers he has a power to just withstand damage. Oh, well, that's pretty good, because that's all you can do. You have no freaking skill. You just sit and get your ass kicked. So he has this skill that he unlocks where he takes punishment and gains power from it. It's like, what kind of a weak-ass character is this? Now, I don't know if Lewis Tan is an actual real martial artist at all in real life, but, I mean, this was a lackluster character, and there was no reason for him to be in this film, because this is a Mortal Kombat film. We should have had an actual Mortal Kombat character in here. Jessica McNamee as Sonya Blade. Best thing I can say about her is I think she's a more skilled martial artist, or at least she looks it in this film, than what Bridget Wilson was in Mortal Kombat in '95, because I was disappointed with Bridget Wilson. I like her as an actress, but yeah, her performance, I think her performance was maybe better than Jessica's, but her fighting skills isn't near as good. And Jessica doesn't really get a lot of good stuff that feels Sonya-like in this film, if that makes any sense. So yeah, with this one, I'm going to go with DoA, Dead or Alive. Alright, so let's move on to supporting. The supporting cast in DoA, Dead or Alive, consists of Holly Valance, Sarah Carter, Natasha Melth, Kane Kosugi, Matthew Marston, Eric Roberts, Kevin Nash, and Colin Chow. The supporting cast in Mortal Kombat consists of Josh Lawson, Makad Brooks, Ludi Lin, Max Huang, Tadanobu Asano, Chin Han, Joe Taslim, and Hiroyuki Sanada. Now, cast in DoA, Dead or Alive, the sporting on here. Much like the leads, I think a lot of these are cast and they really look like the characters from the video game they're based on. Holly Valance looks like Christy Allen. She looks pretty represented toward that character. I don't know if she's I don't know if a lot of these are actual martial artists or anything in here, but a lot of the casting in here is pretty inspired and pretty good. Sarah Carter is pretty good as Elena Douglas. Natasha Melf, I know she is a martial artist, and she's really good as Ayan in here. She, I already know she's a good martial artist. She was in the Blood Rain sequels, and she was really good in those roles in there. Kane Kosugi as Ryu Hayabusa, that was inspired, great casting there, because he is very skilled in martial arts, and that is a popular character you got to get right, and I think they nailed it in this. Matthew Marston as Max is he's serviceable in there. Eric Roberts as Donovan is pretty damn good. He works as the man that actually sets up this whole story to happen. And, you know, thanks to his charisma, he can make this Donovan character really interesting. Kevin Nash as Bass Armstrong is really good in here. Really great casting. He looks like the character, and really has pretty good chemistry with Jamie Presley, who plays his daughter in the film. And then you have Colin Chow as Hayate, another famous, you know, popular character from the Dead or Alive video game, and pretty good casting there too. That was not bad at all. All right, so let's move over to Mortal Kombat and see how the cast was in the supporting for that. You have Josh Lawson as Kano, and next to Joe Taslim and Hiroyuki Sanada as Bihan and Hanzo Hasashi. These are probably the best acting in the film, even though Josh Lawson's Kano is not very accurate to the actual character and is a very big disappointment as compared to Trevor Goddard in the Mortal Kombat from 1995. Even though Trevor Goddard didn't get a lot of really good fight sequences and didn't get to properly show off his skills because of the way they handled him, his overall performance felt more like the real Kano than what Josh does. But Josh does a good performance as the character otherwise. Makad Brooks as Jax. He's okay. I do like the fact that he loses his arms in here, and that they have a really cool explanation for that, even though it differs from the actual video game. Ludi Lan and Max Wong as Liu Kang and Kung Lao. It is a disgrace to a film like this to take two leading characters like Liu Kang and Kung Lao and turn them into supporting characters that are supporting a character that it wasn't even in the fucking games. That is horrible. So, yeah. And then the worst performance in this whole film is Tadanobu Asano as Raiden. He can barely speak the English language, and then he speaks in a whisper most of his dialogue. Whereas Christopher Lambert playing the character it works, because you can actually, even though he He doesn't speak very good English as well, but I mean, at least his dialogue was pretty cool. This, Raiden, his character is shit, and his performance is shit. He does not feel like Raiden at all. Bad casting in that all around. And Chin Han as Shang Tsung could have been really good because he's a really good actor, but that character is completely written completely wrong. He does not feel like what we are expecting from Shang Tsung. And then they tried to include characters like Melina, Natara, Raiko, Cabal, and worst of all, the way that they did Goro. Goro looks really cool in this full CGI character, but to introduce a character that is the champion that should be defeated in a tournament by either Liu Kang or Kung Lao, and to have him just get defeated and killed in a fight with this Louis Tan character of Cole Young. Disgraceful. So, all right, I'm going to go with DoA Dead or Alive again for this one. All right, so let's move on to story. The story on DoA Dead or Alive consists of a group of martial artists are invited to a fighting contest, Dead or Alive, on an isolated island for a prize of $10 million. The story on Mortal Kombat consists of a character named Cole Young is thrust into a battle for Earthrealm when Outworld invades to attempt to kill their champions. The plot on DoA Dead or Alive is pretty consistent with the plot of the video game that it's based on, Dead or Alive. The tournament is handled pretty well in the film and feels like something out of the video games. Very well executed story, in my opinion. And most of the story elements that they have in here for the characters are ripped right from the video game. So I think they did a really good job with the story on DoA Dead or Alive. Now let's look at Mortal Kombat. Number one, you have a lead character who is not part of the actual video game series with Cole Young. And you have Shang Tsung doing something that the character of Shao Kahn did in the game. It wasn't Shang Tsung who decided to go against the tournament and try to invade Earthrealm. So that being a element in this, and they're invading not to try and just push the tournament and actually win. They are just trying to kill the Earthrealm champions, which is just, and the stupid thing with the champions all having these dragon tattoos on them, which is the basically Mortal Kombat logo on them. It's just, that is just the stupidest damn plot element, and that dragon being on them gives them their powers that they have. Ridiculous story here. So another easy win for DoA Dead or Alive on this one. All right, so let's move on to direction. DoA Dead or Alive was directed by Corey Yuen, based on the Dead or Alive video game series from Tecmo. Mortal Kombat is directed by Simon McCoy, based on the Mortal Kombat video game by Midway. Now, as I said in the story, a lot of the elements from the video game are represented very well in the story. And Corey Yuen, being a martial arts director to begin with, knows how to stage these fight scenes and make them really good. And he knows how to choreograph them to make all of the actors feel like they're doing the same fight styles as the characters did in the actual video game. So I think Corey Yuen did a great job in DoA, Dead or Alive. So let's look at Simon McCoy in his direction on Mortal Kombat. His story was trash. I mean, you have Cole Young, Louis Tan's character, as your lead, and it shouldn't be that. It should not be that. Your lead should be Liu Kang or Kung Lao, or both of them as co-leads in there. This Cole Young character should have never been in this film. That was an idiotic decision for them to do that. And it really hurts the overall story on this. And his direction on this, yes, he does some really good jobs with some of the fight sequences and some of the powers of the characters, as I said before. But Mortal Kombat is more than just, oh, hey, let's make their, we're going to give their few little flashy moves to make you guys go, oh, look, they got that right. Yeah, they got that right, but they didn't get the fucking story right. So there is no tournament in this. So, you know, I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. You are supposed to be getting these people to this secluded island. It's like what happens in DoA, Dead or Alive. DoA, Dead or Alive, even though it's based on Dead or Alive from Tecmo, it had a better representation of what Mortal Kombat should have been than what these guys did with this. And Simon McCoy did not do a very good job directing this film, I don't think. So this is another easy win for DoA, Dead or Alive. So, another one-sided matchup here. DoA, Dead or Alive from 2006 may not be the best of films, but one thing I can say about it, it is better than Mortal Kombat 2021. So my final tally on this one ends up being that DoA, Dead or Alive, beats Mortal Kombat 4-0. But what do you think of these two films? Do you agree with my assessment on this? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan.
Well, that's the end of another Versus Night. If you missed last week's Versus Night, check out the link up in here. Or if you've missed any of the other Versus Nights, check out our playlist and see anything that you have missed.